Israel is continuously striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon and Syria. An explosion lit up the Beirut skyline in the early hours. Israel Defense Forces and its military conducted targeted raids against Hezbollah strongholds near border with Israel in southern Lebanon. An Israeli rocket struck a residential building in Damascus on Tuesday evening and killed over 7 people. The strike demolished the first 3 floors of a building in the Mezeh neighborhood east of Damascus. The debris covered the surrounding areas, crushing several cars. Ambulances and excavators arrived at the scene to rescue survivors and clear the wreckage. Israel is continuously bombarding Lebanon. Israeli strikes over the past 24 hours have killed 50 Hezbollah fighters, including 6 whom it described as senior commanders. Israeli Prime Minister has said that Hezbollah was weaker than it has been for many, many years. Benjamin Netanyahu said that apart from having killed the militant's longtime leader Hassan Nasrallah, Israel has also killed his successors. I'm going to go straight across to Gaurav Sawant, getting in more details on that story, joining us from Haifa right now at this point in time in Israel, which had been hit just a few days ago. Gaurav, do give us a sense of how things are at this point in time with an escalation that has been seen. Israel making that big announcement that not just Nasrallah but his successors, those who could be leading Hezbollah, have also been eliminated.
The situation is very, very tense here in Haifa. Even as we speak, there are multiple rockets that have been fired by the Hezbollah on Haifa city. It's a very, very important port city. And moments ago, the Iron Dome system got activated to neutralize the incoming threat. We heard air raid sirens going off through the city while, I was in midst of a recording of a show right over there, over the Haifa Bay. Rockets were fired. So, even as Israeli forces intensify their operations in southern Lebanon, and you've had cases where now there are multi-pronged offensive by the Israeli armed forces that are currently underway. So you have the fighter jets, Israeli Air Force fighter jets that are pounding locations of the Hezbollah, all their strongholds, whether it's very close to the border or all the way now up to the Awali River, Litani River, in and around Beirut, in Damascus, in Syria, closer to the Syrian-Lebanese border. So there are massive airstrikes that are on. Wave after wave of Israeli Air Force fighter jets are pounding Hezbollah strongholds. Like you pointed out, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said not only had they killed Hassan Nasrallah, Fuad Shukra, the entire leadership of Hezbollah, but even new leaders who are being appointed, they are also being neutralized, including Saifuddin and of course Suhail Husseini, who was the logistics chief. There are 4 more commanders who've been killed since, including tactical commanders. However, it is very important to keep in mind that as Israeli ground forces now carry out slightly deeper raids. In the past 3 days, there were very shallow raids, just clearing areas around the Israeli border, but now they're making deeper raids into Lebanon. And as they make these deeper raids, you have Hezbollah fighters who are targeting the Israeli forces. One special forces team of 202 parachute regiment that was targeted by the Hezbollah terrorists. One brave soldier, we are told he made the supreme sacrifice of his life. Some others have been injured in these operations. And this is where the Israeli Air Force and drones then target those Hezbollah strongholds. The Israeli government, the Israeli armed forces, they've issued a warning in Arabic asking people to clear the entire area all the way up to the Awali River. And if you see a map, so far it was the Litani River, which is the 30-kilometer buffer zone that Israel wants to create. But now they've asked for a much wider area to be cleared so that then they can take this battle against the Hezbollah in a multi-pronged way. Air attacks, ground attacks, and now attacks from the sea into that area which is controlled by the Hezbollah. So it's a multi-pronged offensive amidst calls for a ceasefire. And apparently there are some Hezbollah commanders, because they're on the back foot, because they're bleeding, because they're running out of ammunition and the replenishments are not happening, they're seeking a ceasefire. But Israel, while under pressure for a ceasefire, wants to maximize its advantage.
Gaurav, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment.